It's 1962, at the height of Cold War tensions. A crisis is brewing down near the United States on the Caribbean island of Cuba. When the Soviet Union places nuclear missiles on this island, a crisis erupts that could boil over into a full nuclear war. For 13 days in October 1962, humanity itself is on the brink of atomic annihilation. 1959. Cuba is rocked by a revolution. A revolution that will be crucial in understanding the crisis to come. Cuba's new revolutionary leader, Fidel Castro, aligns himself with the Soviet Union, America's arch-enemy. On October 14, 1962, a U-2 spy plane of the U.S. Air Force spots Soviet missiles in Cuba. These weapons are 66 times more powerful than the nuke dropped on Hiroshima. All of the U.S. is in range of a Soviet nuclear attack. U.S. President John Kennedy puts a naval blockade on Cuba in an attempt to stop Soviet weapon shipments. Kennedy demands that the Soviets remove the missiles. He meets with his advisors to talk about the crisis, and some call for airstrikes on Cuba. The U.S. Air Force is put on DEFCON 2. Just one step below nuclear war. At any time, the United States is ready to launch a nuclear attack. On October 27th, a Soviet sub is patrolling the Caribbean, a sub that is armed with a powerful nuclear torpedo. The U.S. Navy tracks on the submarine and signals it by dropping fake depth charges near the sub. However, the Soviets believe they are under attack. Conditions on board are already bad. The crew feels threatened, and the Soviets prepare to launch the nuclear torpedo. Then, a Soviet naval officer named Vasily Arkhipov speaks against a nuclear strike. He announces to the crew of the submarine that the depth charges are not real but dummies, and that the Americans were just trying to make the Soviet sub surface. A nuclear war is narrowly avoided. The next day, on October 28th, the Cuban Missile Crisis is resolved. Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev removes the missiles from Cuba. In return, the United States removes their nukes from Turkey. To make sure that a similar crisis would never happen again, a hotline is made connecting Washington, D.C. to Moscow, ensuring that the two powers can always stay in contact. The Cuban Missile Crisis teaches us about the peril of selfish and proud leadership. It is a story of when two powerful countries played a dangerous game with weapons capable of destroying humanity.